Well, we're still trying to figure out what happened to the 250 some odd guests that came and somehow or other, we had a chair set up for 250 people. All the people that have ever been on the 400 plus shows of Progressive Soup. And I don't know whether, we see the hole in the floor, so we're thinking that maybe what happened was one sat on top of the other, and they just made a sandwich of themselves, one on top of the other, and they all went through the floor.
Yeah, I think. See, they're all down there.
Down there.
They're down in the basement. Yep.
So we had to segue to a show about movies, so we had to improvise a little bit. Not that we ever improvise on this show.
No, of course not.
But well, and we had the what we thought were 12 angry men.
Right, because we're talking about movies.
Yeah,
yep.
We thought we had 12 angry men who turned out to be 12 pissed off guys, and they're gone.
Right, exactly.
Maybe they've gone out in the other room to try us. Who knows?
That's right. So we're talking about our top 10 favorite movies of all time,
or something like that.
So
and we got and Hitchcock's still out there.
Yeah, Hitchcock's
unless
out
of course
there.
it's a Volkswagen Beetle sitting on its rear bumper. We're not sure. It's sort of a shadowy thing out there in the corner, so it might be Hitchcock. Who knows? I think we got rid of that DiCaprio guy. I think somebody finally threw him off the ship.
Yeah.
I'm king of the world.
There he goes.
He's still out there. We got to get all the people in Airplane.
Oh yeah.
That lined up.
Yeah.
To whap somebody.
No, because someone was hysterical.
That's it. We have to get all of them lined up.
Yep.
And could you say that a little bit louder, King?
I don't. Oh, he's not.
I'm king of the world.
There we go.
There, okay, now we gotta line them all up to see if we can, especially the nun with her guitar. Maybe she can
knock him out.
Knock him over the side of the ship.
That's right. So let's recap what we talked about. We talked. Speaking of nuns, we did The Sound of Music.
We did.
We did Titanic.
Yep.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yep.
The Jerk. And then Mr. Mom.
I'm not really quite sure. You made me start to think when we talked about The Jerk.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm not really quite sure. There's such a thing as they call them Black Irish.
Oh.
So who knows? I might be. I don't know. Who knows?
Gee, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah. I can't explain to you what a Black Irishman is, but
okay.
But there is a term, and I don't know what it means.
Well, it's because you were talking about Snatch.
That's it. Oh,
right.
The Irish guy with Brad
exactly.
Pitt, who gets into a few fist fights, and but the movie actually revolves around the snatching, the taking of a it's like a 78 carat diamond.
Yeah.
And how all the hands that it passes through.
Oh.
But that's pretty crazy.
That's right. And then we went to Fight Club.
Fight Club.
With Brad
we did
Club.
Fight Club. Yeah, and all the buildings being blown up at the end, and what we find out about Brad Pitt and Edward Norton that I'm not going to say anymore. But
then it's interesting because I brought up Mr. Mom and how men's roles in films are changing. We talked about Mrs. Doubtfire and what was the other one? Tootsie.
Okay.
Men impersonating. Well, I mean, it's
men
not
impersonating women impersonating men.
But
Victoria.
Yeah.
A woman impersonating a man impersonating a woman.
Right.
Or something like that.
Right. Or what about Mr. Mom? Michael Keaton plays a man who takes over his wife's roles. The wife goes off to work. He gets laid off, so he takes the role of the mother, And I think
because he loses his high-priced job, and she gets a high-priced advertising job, and he's brought into the role of being the homemaker.
Right. And I think now, you see it's becoming it's become a term. You see a lot more men now raising their kids. My father was a single father.
Yeah. But I'm kind of wondering, how do we handicap this one?
Okay,
we got Mr. Mom.
Okay.
We got Mrs. Doubtfire. They get angry at each other and they get into a fist fight.
Right.
Who's going to win?
I think Mr. Mom.
Well, we got to get the audience in on this. Hitchcock doesn't seem to care because he's going to kill both of them off in the movie anyway. But so we got to vote for Mr. Mom. We got to vote for Mrs. Doubtfire. Now remember, this is Mr. Mom before he becomes Batman.
Oh.
So don't give him too much
That's true.
too much credit. Of course, Mrs. Doubtfire, well, she's got a little weight edge on Mr.
Right,
Mom, but I don't
that's
know.
true. And then we said the referee would be Tootsie again.
Tootsie the
Dustin
referee,
Hoffman,
yeah.
And again, dressing up as a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
And then they could bring
interesting.
Victor Victoria into the ring at the end to count whichever one loses out.
But you know, it's interesting. We've had movies where men dress up as women, but do we have movies where, Victor Victoria, a woman
Yeah.
dresses up as a man? Okay.
Or is she a woman dressing up as a man dressing up as a woman?
Oh.
Or is she a woman dressing up as a man dressing up as a woman dressing up as a man?
Right. I don't know.
Soy el rey del mundo.
How about When Harry Met Sally?
Harry Met Sally.
Now you said something about the house Meg Ryan.
8 Highland Avenue
That's
in Bethel.
right, in
that
Bethel.
was Meg Ryan's last point in Bethel
yeah.
before she went off to California to do movies.
That's
and
right.
yeah.
And she was Peggy Hyra. That was her
Peggy
name.
Hyra, yep. But she lived in that house.
Yep. Class cutie, class of 82.
And then on top of that, and this will get us into another movie maybe, after we bought the house from her, then we sold it in 1989, and the couple that bought it from us, Graham-Smith,
Oh, right.
their son,
It's true. Seth
wrote
Graham-Smith.
Graham
I went to
Hyman-Smith.
high school with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
He wrote a book about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, which was later on made into a movie.
And I think he's actually in production of another movie, like Sense and Sense, or Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. He wrote another. It's in production for a movie. I read
Well,
about
he's done
it.
the vampires. It's time to do the zombies,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. So he's still in that genre.
Yeah.
But I think When Harry Met Sally, that's like an theme that will always endear. You know, like the relationship. I think it's an endearing theme. Like you have a man and a woman who are friends.
Yeah.
And
of course, Billy Crystal's attitude is, well, there can never be friendship without sex. It always
Right.
comes down to sex
You know?
eventually, and then everything blows up.
Well, no, like I asked my father once, is it possible for a man and a woman to be friends? And he said, well, I've heard that it's possible, but he has never known it.
He's never seen it. Yeah, it's possible, but then again, it's impossible. It's possible that DiCaprio is going to come back and win an Academy Award for Titanic, posthumously or something.
No, I just think, men and women, the relations between men and women are very, complicated. Can men and women be friends?
Yeah, I say yeah. I say it's easy.
No, it's true. I believe so. But a lot of, there's a couple films that have that theme. They're friends, and then it just, at the end, they end up together. But they draw it out for so long.
Oh my God, they're back and forth and back and forth and angry and fighting and angry and fighting and angry and fighting and angry and fighting.
Yeah.
And then of course the movie ends the way the audience is wanting the movie to end. And it would be a very unhappy audience if it didn't end that way.
Right. Oh.
Well, what about the one where they're on a train? It's Cary Grant. He gets accused of. He gets mistaken for somebody. It's a Hitchcock movie.
Okay.
And he gets chased because apparently he's killed somebody in the United Nations, but somebody else kills him. But he sees the guy and he touches the knife, and all of a sudden the movie camera, camera guy's there snapping pictures of him holding a knife over a dead body, and he has to sneak out. He has to run out of there, and then he's on the train with North by Northwest.
Oh, I thought so.
With Eva Marie Saint.
Yeah.
And she's a protege of the guy that's trying to kill him.
Yeah.
So and I don't want to give away that either, because that's kind of crazy. Except for the fact that at the end they're hanging off George Washington's nose and out in Mount Rushmore, and thankfully George doesn't have a cold and actually accidentally sneeze and send him off into eternity. But the other guy does. The bad guy, one of the bad guys, does get. I think Lincoln's hat falls off and knocks him off.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So another movie.
Let's see. When Harry Met Sally, Mr. Mom, Romancing the Stone.
Romancing the Stone. Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner.
And Danny DeVito. He was in that too.
Danny DeVito. Oh yeah.
No, it's always. I just love that movie because to be a romance novelist, and she. She just wants adventure in her life, and she's always looking for that true love that all women are, that mysterious man. And And so
everybody's
she writes about it, but then her sister gets in trouble in Colombia, and she has to go save her sister, and she meets Michael Douglas in the jungle of Cartagena, Colombia.
Cartagena.
Cartagena.
That sounds like Katharina.
No, it does.
It does.
And and then in the end, like we think that he leaves her to be eaten by alligators, and
he doesn't.
Well, he does leave her because the alligator, the crocodile. No, it's a crocodile. Sorry, he swallows the stone. They find the stone.
Science lesson, kids. Crocodile, narrow snout. Alligator, broad
That's
snout.
right. This is definitely a crocodile.
Okay.
Big, right? And so the crocodile eats the stone, and the crocodile's like taking off, and he's like, "Oh my God!" He's like, he has to choose between the woman he loves. Well, we don't know yet if he loves her or not.
Yeah.
And saving Kathleen Turner or Joan Wilder, or getting the stone that's been eaten by this crocodile, and he chases after the crocodile, and he goes off, and we don't know what happens.
I think the crocodile gets reincarnated in Snatch because there's a dog in Snatch, a cute little, sort of like a pit bull kind of a dog, kind of a cute dog, that ends up swallowing the 78-carat diamond and.
So what happens?
Take it from there.
So what happens is Joan Wilder and the Michael Douglas character. His dream is to buy a sailboat and sail around the world, and he does end up buying a sailboat. And then he comes back to Manhattan and he finds Joan Wilder, and somehow they sail off into the sunset. So, but they had great chemistry, those two. They were in a lot of movies together. They were in like The War of the Roses.
Yeah.
They were in Romancing the Stone. Then after they did The Jewel of the Nile, Danny DeVito was really good in that too.
Are they in Kramer versus Kramer?
No, that was Dustin Hoffman and what's her name? She wins all the Oscars. How can I not remember her name? Oh my goodness.
Cosmo.
No.
Not Cosmo Kramer?
No, this is going to really bother me. Oh my gosh, she's a really famous actress. She's always accepting Oscars and being like, "Oh, you're probably tired of me by now because I win all these."
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of her name either though.
It drives me crazy. Anyway, she it was her.
Okay.
If anyone can remember, please.
Even Hitchcock doesn't. Even Hitchcock doesn't remember.
Okay. Anyway,
I really do think it's a Volkswagen sitting on its rear bumper. I don't think it's Hitchcock.
Oh, she was in everything. She was even in Mamma Mia.
And Lincoln's Stovepipe Hat is somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Gosh, she was really good in the Iron Lady. She played Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher, yeah.
Anyway, she was really good in that movie. But she, anyway, yeah, it was her and Kramer and Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, but I thought Michael Douglas and who do you think are some great on-screen chemistry couples? I thought were really good.
Dustin Hoffman and General George Armstrong Custer, I think, in Little Big Man.
Oh, come on. Well, I think Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan were a really good couple. Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, they were like a...
Yeah.
Not like Harold and Maude, which surprisingly, even though it's a love affair between an 80-year-old woman and a 16...
Harold and Maude,
right,
yeah.
16-year-old boy.
That's not a May-December marriage. That's a January. That's a January.
But it was
2 Januaries going forward marriage.
I just thought it was just a beautiful, well done film. It really felt like there could have been something between them. Yeah, but
Meryl Streep.
I think you really have to carry off that chemistry on film. Yeah.
So Airplane.
Okay, Airplane. Leslie Nielsen, Julie Haggerty. Who is the I can't even remember.
Lloyd Bridges.
Lloyd Bridges. No, the guy who plays the main pilot. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, the co-pilot, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That the little kid comes up and says, "Now you're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar," and he says, "No, I'm Roger. I'm Roger.
Roger that.
Roger that." And the kid just nags at him and nags at him and nags at him, and finally he touches a nerve when he says, "My dad said that you used to go back on defense. Really, you used to dog it on defense when you played basketball." And he said, "You tell your dad that." So
You know what was so ironic with that movie was O.J. Simpson played a cop.
no,
Yes,
that's
it
not
was-
an airplane.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of Naked Gun. Okay,
Yeah, the ones
never
with
mind.
the other ones with Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen's funny. Yeah.
And then the one that came out right after OJ had his little incident out in California with his deceased ex-wife, that a movie came out, and I sat in a theater in Newtown and watched the movie after that. The first time he showed himself in the movie, everybody booed.
What movie was it? Was it a comedy?
It was the Naked Gun.
Two and a Half.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's the one with Ricardo Montalban.
Ah, okay. Priscilla Presley.
Priscilla
was in a lot of-
Presley.
Yeah.
And Simpson's character
Okay.
starts off by he's chasing down these terrorists, and there's, oh my God, Osama bin Laden. There's a whole bunch. There's a whole the president of North Korea. There's all of them in a boat in a harbor conspiring, and he goes in and he pulls out his gun to arrest them all, and they've all got like huge weaponry. And then then Simpson he gets shot like 20 times. Now he walks over, puts his hand down on the stove. Oh! Gets wet paint on his shirt and screams about that. Steps in a bear trap, and then finally, after about 20 things, he finally falls over the side of the boat. And then the next time you see him, he's in a hospital, and his legs in a cast, and it's up like that. And Leslie Nielsen comes in and starts, I don't know, he leans on the cast or something.
Meryl Streep, that was the actress.
Meryl Streep.
Yep.
I'm
exactly.
king of the world.
Meryl Streep. Yeah. Oh gosh. No, I know it's Leslie Nielsen. Those movies were really funny.
He was pretty crazy.
Yeah, you don't see him. Is he still alive? You don't see him anymore.
I don't know. Bring us up another movie.
Okay. Coming to America with
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
And
Yeah.
the other black dude.
Oh, Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall,
That's
the one
right.
that had TV shows on since then. Yeah, that's pretty funny. And of course, James Earl Jones is the king, and he's, typical stodgy James Earl Jones character.
Oh, yeah, you don't see him a lot either anymore, really. He had a stuttering. He stuttered as a child.
I think Luke Skywalker killed him.
Oh.
Yeah, and he had a stutter.
It's amazing how some of these actors who became big time started. Morgan Freeman was in the Electric Company, Vita Moreno, and then they become these really big time.
So many fall by
stars.
the wayside, and then a few of them actually, stick with it and don't get typecast into.
Yeah.
I mean, Morgan Freeman could still be doing the Electric Company at the age of 80.
No, he could.
I mean, they could still have him in that, and he'd be kind of tired of that by now, probably.
Probably.
Instead of being God in all these movies,
No, but
or the president, or whatever the other things he's played.
I think right now Morgan Freeman's in Lucy, which is a movie cut out now. But back to
Yeah.
Coming to America, you don't see a lot of Eddie Murphy. Although Eddie Murphy, from what I've heard, my sister-in-law, her brother-in-law, anyway, my sister-in-law has family that's involved with the movie industry, and I guess he sold a script to Eddie Murphy or something in production for some another anime. He does a lot of animated films.
Oh yeah, he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played one of the characters in the Shrek.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So why isn't he showing himself on the screen? What's going on?
I don't know. After that whole scandal with Babe Scary Spice.
Hitchcock, do you have any idea?
Yeah.
He's got
I
no
know.
idea.
No, I think I don't know why he's not showing himself on screen.
Now we also have Bill Murray in the hammock back there, and I don't know how Bill Murray got into this because we always have Bill Murray in the hammock on Basil Buddha-Cat Presents. He's always out there because Bill's the one that taught us. We've got the piano in Basil. Whenever you want to conjure up a ghost from the hereafter, I have to do the two top.
I loved Bill Murray in Meatballs. He was funny about the summer camp teen. It's like 1979.
Yeah,
80.
that's pretty good. I'm gonna go with over that one. I'm gonna go with Groundhog Day,
Oh yeah.
where everything keeps happening over and over and over. The same scene
Right.
repeats itself over and over
exactly.
again.
I loved that movie.
Or actually, I'm gonna give my best nod to him in The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, where he plays a Jacques Cousteau type character.
Bill Murray?
Yeah, he plays a Jacques Cousteau type character, and he goes out to catch the fish that ate his friend Esteban.
Huh.
And he's in front of this gathering of scientists and audience to talk about that, and they show the little clip where Esteban doesn't come up, and there's a big pool of blood that comes up because this jaguar shark has eaten Esteban, and then Murray says he's going away to capture and kill the shark. And the question that arises out of that is, this is an animal that's rare and nobody's ever seen another one of them. Why would you kill it? He stops and he thinks and he says, revenge.
Oh.
So
no, and
that's another good one.
I was always, Bill Murray, he transitioned from comedy, and he's had some quite roles, serious roles. He was in that one where he plays Roosevelt. Something
Absolutely.
On the Hudson.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and then there was always Ghostbusters. That was a very serious role.
Yeah, exactly. Stripes. He with Harold Ramis, who just passed away actually last year. Yeah. They boy joined the U.S. Army.
Yeah. Murray's got a lot of pretty interesting comedy roles, and some, like you say, some drama.
Right. No, so he's transitioned from comedy to drama. Like I said, a lot of actors they start out in children's television, and
they go on to something very different. They don't want to get stuck in the same thing.
Right. Exactly. So, what's your favorite movie of all time?
I've got a list here of 10, and that's just scratching the surface.
Oh, what about a favorite actor or actress? Do you have a favorite actor or actress?
I'm gonna say, only because of the nature of the film, I'm gonna say my favorite film of all time is Pollyanna.
Okay.
Only because of the nature of the story,
Right.
the eternal optimism that's shown in that.
You have a favorite actor or actress?
No.
Oh.
All right, one more. Super 8.
Okay.
Which you haven't seen, as I
no,
understand.
I haven't.
Super 8, which is just a couple of years ago with Steven Spielberg, and I've had a conversation with Dave King about that. Dave wasn't too excited about it.
Right.
But it's a bunch of kids that are in their adolescence,
Right.
and it's during the 70s, and they're doing a movie. And it's a vampire movie, and they've got the special effects. They're doing okay with the special effects. They got the blood and everything, and there are two young men, two boys in it, that are both interested in the same girl.
Okay.
And the side story is that one of the two young men's mother died in an accident recently in the manufacturing plant that she works in, and the girl's father, as it turns out, was unable to cover his shift for whatever reason, and drinking. And his mother ended up covering the shift for the girl's father,
Right.
and she gets killed.
Ugh.
So there's, of course, this horrible anger between the two fathers because of that.
Right.
And but they're making this movie, and there's the gigantic train crash at the train station. Very well done, really good special effects. And from there on, the movie, well, Dave said it went downhill. I thought it levels out, and something that was on the train is a secret.
Oh.
And they're trying to find out what was on the train, and the Army, Navy, or Air Force doesn't want it known what was on the train, and it becomes kind of a suspense story after then. So Super 8, because that's the film that they film it in, Super 8 film.
Oh, okay. And I've noticed too that a lot of old-time actresses are appearing again in films, like Jane Fonda. She's making a resurgence, later on in her career. You see a lot of her, Meryl Streep. Who are some other actresses?
Barbra Streisand been in anything lately?
Not since the 90s, I don't think. Maybe she was in The Mirror with Two Faces, or no, I don't think Barbra Streisand has. Sally Field, she's been in a lot.
Oh my God, yeah, she's been in a couple. She was
Lincoln. Mary Todd Lincoln.
Mary Todd Lincoln, that was a great role of hers.
Yeah, she was.
And you mentioned that she worked very hard to get that role.
Yeah,
and it turned out to be.
Spielberg didn't want to give it to her right away, but she fought for that role because she, yeah. And it's hard to believe because someone you'd think with her clout. I mean, she was a 2-time Oscar winner, and to have to fight for a role.
I'm king of the world, and don't you forget it.
And he's only been in 8 movies, I think, in his life, and they're all highly regarded films.
Exactly.
Was he in the one where I Will Find You? Was that the one, Last of the Mohicans? Is he in that?
Oh, he is.
Okay.
He is.
I Will Find You.
Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah.
He was in My Left Foot. The something of the Gangs of New York.
Yep. And then Lincoln.
Yeah.
And I think that's a terrific film to watch. It's kind of slow and plodding.
Right.
But the notion that everybody has about slavery is that, well,
right.
They sat down after the Civil War was over and they said, well,
right.
slavery is bad. Well, let's make a constitutional amendment, and it was like that.
Right.
No, there was a lot of horse trading that went on.
Right.
A lot of
exactly.
Lincoln had to give out a lot of postmasterships. He gave out postmaster offices to in states that hadn't even come into the Union, I think.
Right. No, I know.
And he had to he had to work very hard to get that amendment passed, because if that amendment had not been passed, when Lincoln died, his Emancipation Proclamation was gone, and you could have slavery again.
Wow.
They needed that to officially end slavery.
Yeah, and I guess he understood that too. That's why he made it his, and his family was against him, his wife, his son, and.
Yeah, there were a lot of internal dynamics in the family that were really tough, and the problems with the kids.
The pressure that he was against, He really had to believe in what, stick to what he believed in,
And of course, he, very much like the current president, he had people on both sides that were angry at him.
Right, exactly.
Both sides of the equation, because one side says, why aren't you getting this done? Can't you just get this done?
Right, exactly.
And the other side is saying, well, we don't want you to get this done.
Right, exactly.
So he got it from both directions. So he was really, at the time, very much a hated president.
Yeah.
By a lot of people that weren't happy with him from one side or the other of this equation of slavery.
And he was assassinated.
Oh, you gave away the end of the movie.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, my God. Now we're trying to give...
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Lincoln dies in Lincoln. He's not around anymore.
No.
He did come back briefly to slay some vampires.
Oh,
though.
that's right.
So that's good. He did make a comeback. So this has been Progressive Soup. David Stevenson, Emily Volpin-Testa, and 250 some odd people that they're around somewhere.
Oh, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, and
see you next week.
Hitchcock's off. He must be headed to the deli.
That's right.